recent past, there were men not made of flesh alone, but clad in iron, veiled in mystery and carved from the storm. Long before Rome reached eastward with greedy fingers, before Caesar dreamed of crossing Rubicons, there thundered a force across the plains of Persia, majestic, terrifying, and relentless. The Cataphracts. Forged in the deserts of Parthia through blood, sweat, and tears, these were no mere cavalry. They were juggernauts, cloaked in lamellar armor from helm to hoof. Man and beast, one beast of war. With this beast of war, Parthia wanted all the smoke. Chosen not for birthright, but for endurance, hardened not in comfort, but in the flames of endless war. Let us travel to those distant lands, where the sun scorched the sands and the sky trembled at the gallop of thunder. We ride with the Cataphracts. There rose a people in the scorched lands between the Tigris and the Zagros mountains. They were the Parthians, archers, horsemen, warriors born in the saddle. But the world changed. Enemies grew bold, Rome crept closer, and so the Parthians forged a weapon unlike any the world had seen before. They gave birth to the Cataphract. The name Cataphract comes from the Greek kataphractos, fully armored, and fully armored they were. Man and horse alike, clad in iron and bronze from head to hoof, their faces hidden behind metal visors, their bodies wrapped in scale and mail, so tightly bound that even a Roman pilum struggled to find a weak spot. They were not many, they were not fast, but when they rode, they shattered earth like thunder and crushed nations beneath their hooves. To be chosen was no light honor. You needed strength, not just to wield the long contos, a two-handed lance like a tree branch, but to endure the weight of your second skin. You had to be skilled in archery, for many cataphracts could also rain death while they advanced, and most of all, you needed will. For the armor was heavy, the desert was cruel, but a true cataphract bore the weight of Parthia's pride. At Cari in 53 BC, the Roman general Crassus brought 7 legions to the sands of Mesopotamia. He laughed at the Parthians, called them goat herders and nomads. But then came the arrows, thousands drawn from the never-empty quivers of the Parthian horse archers, and when the Romans broke formation, the cataphracts charged. Imagine it, iron-clad behemoths smashing through disciplined ranks like a river of blades. Crassus died, his son died, 20,000 Roman soldiers perished. Rome had tasted the storm of Parthia. Even centuries later, emperors like Trajan and Marcus Aurelius would still whisper of the Eastern cavalry, their armor, their terror. For the cataphracts did not fight for conquest alone, they fought to preserve a kingdom, a heritage, a wall against Roman greed. And though empires rise and fall, the image of the cataphract, half man, half machine, lived on. The Byzantines copied them, the Persians elevated them, and the knights of medieval Europe owe their very existence to their legacy. No statue bears their true faces, no scroll tells the fullness of their deeds, but their memory rides with the wind and with those who dare to remember. For in the end, history forgets the noise, but it remembers the thunder, and the thunder was theirs.